Okay, let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Around the Rim Radio. I am your host, Aiden. What does Nikola Jokić and Jonas Valanciunas' injury mean for the Nuggets? What does Austin Reaves' injury mean for the Lakers? And is Victor Wembanyama injured again? If so, for how long? All right, let's get into it, starting with the Denver Nuggets. So, this post just came out earlier today. Both Jokic and Valanciunas are out for at least 1 month. This is really bad for the Denver Nuggets. Of course, Nikola Jokic being out, that's of course going to be bad for them. He's probably the best player in the league, or he is the best player in the league. This is a huge loss for the Denver Nuggets. I'm not sure what their upcoming schedule looks like, but I'm assuming they're not going to win a lot of games. They're going to have some hard opponents coming up with players. Of course, the team being in the Western Conference, so they're going to have some Western Conference opponents. And looking over here in the standings, they are currently the 3 seed. They are 1 game above the Denver Nuggets. But they're going to fall down into the standings. He's going to be out for a month, so I'm assuming he's going to miss. They play every other day roughly, so he's going to miss about 15 games if he's out for the 1 month. There's going to be a reevaluation period with him. Does he get reevaluated at the 4-week mark and then come back instantly? Does he get reevaluated and it gets pushed out another 2 weeks? Honestly, I don't know. We'll find out here in about 3 or 4 weeks. So obviously a very big blow to the Denver Nuggets losing Nikola Jokic. We'll have to see whoever their third string backup is. I believe it's Zeke Naji. He's probably going to be getting the starting position. I know Aaron Gordon's still out, so they can't really go any small ball and play him at the 5. So Jamal Murray's going to have to step up. Cam Johnson, everyone else on the Nuggets, Christian Braun's going to have to step up as well. And, of course, I would say, oh, well, Valanciunas would just start, but he is going to be out for a month as well. He has a calf strain, so the Nuggets are down their starting center and their backup center. Obviously, like I said, with Jokic being your best player, it sucks to lose your best player no matter what position. But the fact that your best player is Jokic in the center, and then you also lose your backup center in Valanciunas, this is just going to be a rough month or 2 month and a half, whatever it is for the Nuggets. So we'll have to see how they can mitigate this injury. Are they going to step up and everything? But let's go ahead and get into their upcoming games so we can kind of get a better look on it. All right, so they are going to be playing the Cavaliers, so East team right there. So they actually have an East run here coming up. So they got Nuggets at Cavs. Cavs are a good team, probably going to drop that one. You got Nuggets at Nets. That's a winnable game even without Jokic. You got Nuggets at Sixers. Probably lose that game, but Sixers, you never know. At Celtics, again, probably going to lose, but you never know. Then they go at home against the Hawks. Another winnable game. It just kind of depends on the injury report. I know Porzingis has been in and out. I know that Jalen Johnson was out with an illness. I believe he's back, though. And then Trae Young has been in and out with his knee injury. So we'll see there. Bucks, we'll have to see there as well. Could be winnable depending on if Giannis plays. I don't see why he wouldn't. Then they got the Pelicans. That's another winnable game. So, you're looking at these 6 games right here that are winnable, even without Jokic, minus Cleveland and Boston, really. And then we go to Dallas, who, again's not great. Is Anthony Davis going to be healthy? We'll have to see. And then Wizards, Hornets, Lakers, honestly, yeah. I thought that they would have some more West games just due to them being in the West, but they have a lot of East games against low-end East teams, and then they have a few games coming up here against some lower-end West teams as well. Grizzlies aren't that good. Clippers aren't that good. Thunder, of course, good. Lakers, that should be a good game there. But yeah, this is very good to see if you're a Denver Nuggets fan for sure. Just seeing kind of the upcoming schedule with Jokic being out. Say if he's out, that puts him at February 1st. So let's see how many games he's going to be missing here. So say if he misses the bare minimum, which is 1 month, he's gonna be uh, coming back, if he does against this Thunder game, which this would mark game 18 right here. So yeah, he's getting, like I said, 15, every other day with a couple backs to backs. So yeah, he'll be missing about the next 18 games, 17, 18 games at least. But then you see Thunder and Nuggets, that's a home game. He could come back for that. Or they do go, at Detroit, at New York, at Chicago. Then you could possibly see him return against the Cavaliers in Denver. So, that puts him a little bit over that 20 game mark. So, yeah, he's going to be missing the next, call it 17 to 20, 21 games at least for the Denver Nuggets here. I would assume that he would return at home. So, say if he maybe is another few weeks out from that initial first evaluation, could see him return middle to end February, maybe against like the Celtics and at home or, something like that. But you're definitely going to need Jokic as you get into this harder stretch because you got Oklahoma City, you got Detroit, you got New York, you got Cleveland again, you got the Warriors, you got the Celtics, you got the Thunder. You got the Timberwolves right there. You got the Lakers again. So you're really going to need Jokic more than anyone. I know Valanciunas is out and Aaron Gordon, but you're going to need Jokic more than anyone, especially for this stretch, because as you get into February, March, April, that's when the playoff push happens. That's when you need your best players available to be out on the court and win you games. And of course, Jokic is that guy for the Nuggets. So you're going to miss him for, you're going to miss him for all of January, probably a little bit of February, but you can at least hope that he gets back in that early February timeframe in enough time to maybe get off that minutes restriction, get his legs back under him, get more into a groove. So when you do get into this pretty hard run here, against New York, Cleveland, Golden State, Boston, OKC, he's ready to go for it. All right, then we're going to move over here to the Austin Reaves injury. So I know that this happened about a week ago. He does have a grade 2 left calf strain. So he's going to be out up to 4 weeks as well. So, no, Austin Reaves, he's not the type of player, no player wants to miss games, but him specifically, when he's good to go, he's good to go. So it says up to 4 weeks. That kind of leaves a little bit of room, like, hey, like it could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks. I guess it kind of just feels, or, it's going to be how he feels, come that 2-3 week area. But, the Lakers are bracing for him to be out for 4 weeks. And of course, that really does hurt the Lakers when you have a player who's looking like an all-star this year in Austin Reaves. But the Lakers lose a lot of ball handling really quick because, yes, you got Luka, yes, you got LeBron. You got Marcus Smart, who's not a bad ball handler. He's a guard. But then, you lose Reaves, then you're down to Luka, LeBron, Vincent, but currently Vincent's out. So now you got LeBron, Luka, and Smart. And then you start getting into the Bronny James, the Nick Smith, they're not the greatest ball handlers. You can always have Luka or LeBron on the court, but a big part of the Lakers offense and just them as a team is Austin Reaves. He's a very good catch and shoot guy who catches passes, shoots the three all the time off the pass from Luka or LeBron, who like to penetrate into the paint and then they'll kick out to whoever for three. Austin Reaves is usually on the receiving end of that, and he's also a really good shot creator, not even just a ball handler, but he's a good shot creator for himself and for others. He kind of does the same thing that Luka and LeBron do. They just do it to a higher level than Reaves can. But Austin Reaves has been phenomenal this year for the Lakers, so it really does suck to see Austin Reaves go down for, again, possibly a month. So they're kind of gonna be in the same boat as the Nuggets are with Jokic. Of course, Austin Reaves is not even close to the level that Jokic is, but he's a big player to their team. They're going to go through a rough stretch of teams in the West. They got a couple games against Memphis coming up. They got a couple games, I believe, the Pelicans, who, aren't that great, but we're going to go ahead and get into their upcoming games as well and see what the Lakers can do to, get through this stretch. And then before we do get into their upcoming games, this was the injury report for the Grizzlies. So you have a Dude Thiero out, doesn't really play. Gabe Vincent is out, like I said, another ball handler. Austin Reaves is out, another ball handler. Rui Hachimura is out. That's a starter slash role player. And then Vanderbilt is questionable. So another role player hurt there. So the Lakers are kind of going through it right now with their role players and, a all-star type player in Austin Reaves. Yeah, you still got Luka. Yeah, you still got LeBron. But when you're missing one, two, three, five role players, and two of them are starters. That's a really big blow to the Lakers and not a good thing at all. All right, so here are the Lakers' upcoming games. So we got a back-to-back, not back-to-back nights, but back-to-back games against the Memphis Grizzlies. So, like I said, the Grizzlies aren't the best. It looks like they are currently the 9 seed at 15 and 18. But when you're missing that many role players, I mean, it just makes it more likely that you're just going to lose, especially with, like I said, Reaves and Rui, and you got Gabe out, and now Vanderbilt might be out. So I hope that the Lakers can walk away with at least one of these being a win. That would be the worst case scenario. You don't want to go 0-2 against the Grizzlies. 1-1 is what I'm hoping for, but of course 2-0 would be the dream scenario. But I'm expecting the Lakers to go 1-1 against the Grizzlies here, and then we play the Pelicans. I would say that the Lakers again should win that, but it looks like the Pelicans, yeah, they haven't been winning much. I mean, they're 5-5. I know that they had a little bit of a winning thing going, but nothing really. So I would say the Lakers, even with that shorthanded though, they should win that game with Luka and LeBron. Then you got the Spurs, which this is interesting because Wemby might be out. Will Rui be back? Will Vincent be back? Well, you don't really know. So, but yeah, for the Lakers, their ideal situation is going to be 1-1 against the Grizzlies. Beat the Pelicans. Try and go 1-1 against these Spurs and Bucks games, and then you got the Kings, Hawks, Hornets, Trailblazers. Ideally with those many injuries. But these aren't good teams, so 3-1 is on the table. I would hope that the Lakers, they've been great as a season. I mean, they're 20-11. They have not been playing well as of recently. That's kind of expected with given how shorthanded they are. But say they get a couple players back, there's no reason they shouldn't win, at least 3 of these games here. But Austin Reaves did suffer his injury on Christmas, which would have been this Rockets game. So that's going to kind of push it into this time frame here, I would assume starting with this Raptors game. I mean, then you're approaching that 3.5 week mark. So then you got Toronto, Denver, Clippers, Mavericks, Bulls, Cavs, Wizards, Knicks. So I would expect Austin Reaves to return some point in this time frame. But you also do think as well that, say they don't want to rush him back or bring him back on the road, because they do go, at Denver, at Clippers, which is in LA, so there's a chance that he could return versus this Clippers game. But then you go at Dallas, at Chicago, at Cleveland, at Washington, at New York, at Brooklyn, and then you come back home against the Sixers. So I would say that Austin Reaves' most ideal return could be that Clippers game in Los Angeles at the Clippers home arena, or at home against the 76ers. But, say if he is close to returning and this Clipper game does pass, there is a chance he could come back in one of these middle games here, like against the Nets or the Wizards or whatever it is. But I would expect him to be back late January, early February, at the earliest or latest. Right, and then over to Victor Wembanyama. He suffered a hyperextension in his left knee, but he expects to be back next game. So that is good. I am actually seeing this for the first time. I thought that Wemby would be out a little longer because I know that this just says hyperextension. But I did see a post that said a slight hyperextension, which is good. I did think, maybe a week, maybe, the next 3 games or something. But it's good to see that Wembanyama is going to be good for the San Antonio Spurs. So that kind of goes back to like what I was saying about the Lakers game with Austin Reaves. Wembanyama is going to be there, so the Spurs should take that one. But yeah, Wembanyama's been great for the Spurs. Of course he has been. He's a superstar in the league. He's beat the Thunder, I believe, 3 times this year. So it's a really good thing for the Spurs that he is going to be okay. They can just kind of have a sigh of relief and kind of just move forward with it. Wemby does get his ankles and calves and his knees kind of dove at, and a lot of players run into it a lot. just with him being so tall and lengthy. So he is really prone to those just knee, calf, and ankle and foot injuries. So you got to be really careful with Victor Wembanyama. I see it a lot when he, goes in for a dunk or goes in for a rebound. These players box out and they fall or they dive towards the ball. And since he's just so long and tall, he just gets his knees just rammed into. So he's really got to be careful when he's getting into the paint. And, he's got to build better muscle and more of a foundation in his lower, his leg area, because everyone, you've seen it before throughout the league. I mean, a player lands on your foot wrong or your calf or rolls on your leg, it can get really bad really fast. You can tear something. You kind of saw with Jokic. I mean, no one really dove into it, but it just takes one wrong movement. Your knee moves wrong. Something's tore. Something's hyperextended. You just got to be really careful with that stuff, especially when you are a center, because a lot of these centers, like I said, are just so tall and long that they're just more prone to these injuries. Even if it's like a player's not even rolling into your leg or anything. I mean, they just got to be more careful. So Wembanyama has been great for the Spurs, in terms of his play, his stats, his numbers, winning them games, but he has been an injury-prone player. So I'd really like to see Victor Wembanyama, just get healthy and stay healthy. I don't want him to have the tag on him like how Anthony Davis does or Porzingis does. Like, oh, he's an injury prone big man, because we see so many injury prone big men throughout the league who are great, like some of the players that I just named, but these injuries really do stop them from hitting their ceiling. Victor Wembanyama has the highest ceiling in the league, probably. So, I don't want to see that ceiling, get shorter and shorter due to these injuries. So I'm really glad to see that Victor Wembanyama is okay and healthy. So the Spurs, they really dodged a bullet with this one. All right, everybody. I really appreciate you guys hopping on, and I hope you enjoyed the content. If you want to, please hit that sub button and turn on post notifications. I do post a couple videos throughout the week, and I do plan on going live once a week as well. So feel free to join those and drop anything in the comments you'd like me to talk about, and I will be happy to respond or talk about your comment. And I will leave my TikTok in the comments below. Thank you, and Happy New Year.